Hi. Hi there, it's Emily here with Shaky Hand, Steady Heart. And today I'm going to tell you about part 2 of my journey to my diagnosis of Parkinson's disease. What triggered this is I just got a call from a nurse at Baylor Scott and White Hospital to do my intake questionnaire and give me instructions for my surgery, which is May 6th, and also some instructions for April 29th, which is next Wednesday, for my anchor pin placement, where they'll do some imaging and leave the pins in my head for the surgery. So it's a lot, it's heavy. I look like a mountain woman right now because I am. My husband and I are celebrating a late 15th wedding anniversary in the beautiful Sierra Nevada mountains. So we're in a town called Oakhurst at this beautiful Airbnb. You know, it's just something I wanted to make happen before the surgery, and we're enjoying ourselves in God's beautiful creations. And I'm a little emotional as usual. I also do have wine, so get a glass. Okay, so I ended my last part 1 of my journey to my diagnosis ended in 2021 when I was in Salt Lake City, and I had met a coworker for the first time who told me after the, and now there's a commercial. I have to pause. Time out. Pandora.
Anxiety, sleep disruption, and even depression. Finding the right type of support can help. Therapy can provide the tools you need to navigate the emotional weight of financial stress and manage uncertainty with more confidence. See if therapy's for you. Visit betterhelp.com/pressplay for 10% off. That's betterhelp.com/pressplay.
Okay, picking back up. That was actually a commercial for therapy, which is so perfect for this moment. But okay, going back, my part 1 of my journey to my diagnosis ended in 2021 when I was in Salt Lake City after an 8-hour demo / presentation with a client that was also followed by a 3-hour dinner with the client. They were a great company, and they still are. But at the end, you know, somebody I was working with asked me if I had a condition, or what my condition was about my hand. So if you haven't seen that, see, I'm going to point here to pretend I'm going to point to the video here. I'm also going to point here so I can edit it. But yeah, there's part 1. So fast forward to, and my dates are not perfect, and it's also starting to rain, so it's good. But I wanted y'all to see the mountains in the background versus the, what is that? Stucco. Okay. One of my dear friends, Miranda, who actually introduced me to my husband, Darren, and I met her in 2005, which is the same year I met my husband. She and her family, we were close. They lived in Austin for a while, and they ended up moving to Boston for a little while for her job and just kind of life growth. And I went up to see her and her family with Riley, my oldest daughter, and I guess that was like 2022. My dates are messy, but it was over a year or 2 past the initial neurologist. And you know, we had a great time, and I had a lot of trouble getting around, but as I had still been, and because I hadn't been diagnosed. So on our last day, her and her daughter and me and my daughter went, and I think we did some tours in Boston, and she basically had to come to Jesus with me, and she said something along the lines of, when I move back to Austin, we're going to find you a good doctor, because, and I'm ad-libbing here because something is not, you know, you are getting worse with your movements. And you know, I knew I had been, but to hear from someone who had been a close friend of mine for years and had met her when I was 27, and fast forward, I was 45 at the time when we had this talk. It's like, you know, my other friends had still been my friends in Austin, but they'd seen me day by day. It's like seeing your kids every day and then going away for a week and coming back, and you're like, oh my God, you've grown an inch. Kind of the same thing, you know, when you don't see people for a while, you remember them in your mind the way you last saw them, and then you see them again. So I said, okay, and this video is getting long, so I'm going to try to speed it up, but I think it's important. So I'm referencing memory here, and it's hard for me to do. By the way, it's like 42 degrees right now, and I'm outside with no shoes on, but I do have socks. Bombas. Okay, so I got home and I talked to my husband about it, and I was like, yeah, it's time I find somebody. So fast forward, I found a neurologist in my area who focuses on restless leg and Parkinson's, and it is now raining, but I'm gonna roll with it. Subashi Wijaman, and she's out of Lakeway, Texas, and it took me, I don't know, a long time to get in to see her, as do any neurologist or specialty doctor. But she diagnosed me. She did her tests, she did her exam, she did all the things that doctors do. It's not a bear. And then she told me, you know, you have some Parkinson's in there, or something to that effect. And I was overwhelmed with joy and fear and thankfulness all at the same time, because I finally had a name for what was wrong with me. So thank you, Dr. Wijaman. I go in 8 days from now for my anchor screws that are going to be put in the skull, 4 of them, 2 on each side, and then followed by a CT scan for final imaging for the surgery May 6th. So thanks for hanging in there with me. I'm going to go inside because I'm cold. I'm not really cold, but I have hot flashes, but I'm getting colder and wet. And I am going to post a little excerpt of a video that I took of myself the night before we left for Yellowstone, just to show you some of my dyskinesia symptoms that I get when I can't take my retiree, because I've lost insurance coverage on that. So anyway, thanks for being here and along my journey with me. God bless, and cheers.